So it's been a pretty big start to the new year in the housing industry. A lot of changes here. We're going to start off actually by going over some numbers in the building community.
So builders,
Right.
building houses,
New homes that are being built.
new homes that are being built. I just did a TikTok on new homes that are being built.
Interesting. What'd you talk about?
Single family rentals and build for rent, but
That's going to be huge this year.
it's good. We'll get into it. But
Right.
what were you reading about?
Right. So, I mean, as everyone knows, so new built homes has a much longer turn time, right? It's not just a normal purchase home because you're looking at 9-12 months out. So they're usually a little ahead in terms of what they are preparing for the market. So it's kind of interesting to look at it in terms of what are they seeing, what are they preparing for over the next 12 months.
What do you mean they're a little bit ahead? They're predicting a little bit ahead?
Absolutely,
Gotcha.
because they need to be prepared for what's coming. They need to be staffed up for it.
Right.
So we're looking here at the job openings in the construction industry.
Are there jobs in construction?
There are.
So all the people saying there's no jobs out there. There are jobs.
Oh, there's jobs.
You just
out
have
there.
to want to do those jobs.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. I always get confused on that part.
Right.
People are saying there's no jobs, but literally whenever I wanted to find a job, I could find a job. It's whether or not that's the job I wanted.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So I mean, and just looking at it from the number standpoint too, because as of recording just a few days ago, the most recent builder confidence numbers came out, which is people in the housing industry. How confident are they in the current building market? And it came out, it increased for the first time in 12 months, up to 35%, which is still historically low. But it's increasing, it's improving. We're moving in the right direction.
It went up to 35%.
It did.
Builder confidence.
Right.
Which is still considered negative because it's below 50%.
Exactly. Anything over 50% is considered negative. Back in
Below 50%, not over.
below 50, correct. Back in 2020, I mean, we were around like 80% confidence rating.
Why wouldn't they be confident?
Just because of, in terms of, I mean, it's still from like, they're still having issues with supply chain. The higher interest rates are impacting builders because those are higher cost
Right.
jobs to begin with. It is. I mean, it's been hard times right now for builders. I mean, 29% of builders have cut housing prices. You go around, look at all these national builders, they're dropping their prices. They historically have not given great commission to buyers agents, realtor agents. They're now offering a lot more on that to try to incentivize realtors to bring potential clients to show their homes. They're just doing a lot more right now that they have not done historically. However, like I said, it looks like it's starting to change just with the confidence rating going up, the fact that they are now hiring. I mean, 5.5% is the highest job opening in the construction industry in the last 20 years. It's at 4.8% right now. So it's
close to the highest ever.
Exactly.
It's up there historical highs.
Exactly. So what do you think that means for going forward?
I hate builders.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not like dealing with builders. I shouldn't say, and when I say builders, I'm thinking of Lennar and the big national builders. Now, there's some local, 75 to 100 units a year type builders.
Right.
I love working with them. But the builders who have their own lenders in-house, right, can't stand them because it's cheating. It should be a conflict of interest. It takes competition out, and they sell the buyer on doing it all right here for them. With them, I should say.
Right.
And they make it seem like it's a better deal for the buyer or our client, and it's typically not a better deal.
Right.
As far as them having to actually give realtors commission, good. I'm glad they've had to do that. As far as them having to give more incentive, good. I'm glad they've had to do that. There's massive profits built into those homes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the homes aren't built well, right?
Quickly and cheaply.
Quickly and cheaply. They're throwing them up. But they are meeting a big time demand in the market. We still do not have enough homes on the market.
No, not even close.
So my thoughts are this: keep building. We need to flood the market with homes. We aren't close enough to the inventory that is needed for our population, especially with startups, first time home buyers, household formations, and things of that nature.
Right.
What I was looking for there was first time household formations. Right. We do not have enough homes.
I don't think people understand just how low the inventory out there is and how
it's
badly
extremely low.
We need new homes to be built.
Terribly. We need new homes to be built. We need new homes on the market. Terribly need it. Here's the other thing that they don't understand is interest rates went up, but they were still below the 30-year average, right? So they were high, and they were high for our lifetime. Like, if you think about it, I'm 33. The last time interest rates were this high was when I was 3 years old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So they're extremely high for our lifetime. However, they have come down big time since December 1st. We're locking people in at 5.5%, depending on like credit scores and things of that nature.
We
right?
are.
So my thoughts when it has to do with this market, when it has to do with 2023, when it has to do with housing in general, is buy more homes if you can. Don't over leverage yourself. If you aren't in a primary residence, get into it now. Right. I don't think you should wait. Don't wait for interest rates to come down. Get into it now.
Right. And
you had a thought, I could tell.
I did. And it was kind of going off of what you mentioned earlier about buying homes, buying investment properties. Now's the time to expand if you can. It is a little tougher times, but if you can, now is the time to get in there. You mentioned build to rent earlier.
Well, I want to finish my other thought first because I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw my TikTok this week. It was all about the build for rent market. It was an article. I did an article that was published in January 9th. And if you don't follow me on TikTok, it's NBI Financial Group's page is where I'm posting it. I will be Czar of Mortgage on there. I haven't gotten that rolling yet, but I own the page. But what I am getting at is I'm telling people to buy now.
Yeah.
But Nick, the interest rates, I'm going to be paying $200 higher than I would have. Buy now.
Right.
Buy now. The interest rates are going to come down at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to be historic lows like 2020? Absolutely not. But are we going to be able to lower that payment? Yep, we will. You know what I'm not going to be able to do? Build you a new house from scratch to meet the inventory issue. People keep saying to me, why? I have one guy telling me, oh, you're just trying to hustle before this other shoe drops. There isn't another shoe, my man.
There's not.
There's no other shoe. The other shoe is not going to drop because there is not one. Right? What they're talking about is when they say this guy was saying the other shoe is going to drop, what I assume he was talking about is a 2008-like crisis. There's not going to be a 2008-like crisis. In 2008, inventory flooded the market. We had too much inventory and not enough demand. And when there's too much supply and not enough demand, prices drop. But what they failed to tell you, Ben, you know what they failed to tell you? They failed to tell you that in 2008, 2009, when the housing market crashed and real estate crashed 40%, 35%, guess how long it took to recover the loss?
Oh, years.
3 years.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
You say, oh, years. Dude, if you have an asset and it drops for 3 years and it comes back up, and it's worth more than what it was when you previously bought it and you're in the green, I'll take that 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times. As long as you don't sell, you don't lose money.
Okay, but what I was getting at when I said it like that, because that is a long time for real estate. Because historically, it does not, very few times does it even drop. And if it does, not very much, and it's right back up the next year.
That's what you were getting at. So
right, that's what I'm saying. So like that 3 years is historically that is a long time.
But 3 years is not a long time. I understand what you're saying, but you're saying it in a very negative fashion. You have No, you do. You have a sense
negative.
Yes, you do.
Fact that housing's a safe investment.
It's not what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. You're saying it, oh, it's a safe investment, but it took years. If someone hears it takes years, they get scared, man. It's how you frame everything, right? 3 years is not a long time. Plain and simple. You and I talk about this all the time. You frame things and you make things sound like it's a bad thing when it's not a bad thing. What I am saying is if you got into a house and the market dropped by 35% and then 3 years later the market was up by 40%, you're up 5%. That doesn't happen in other investments like that.
Right.
Only in housing does that happen. And historically, housing goes up. There are dips and trends here and there, but the way you said that is framing it in a negative light when it's actually a positive thing. Would you agree?
No, because that was the worst in history. Like, that's as bad as it's going to get. And
You said years.
Only 3 years.
Years sounds scary to people.
Okay.
No, it is. It sounds scary. And I think it's good that we're having this conversation on the podcast because you can see the difference in the way I think and the way you think, right? We're thinking the same thing, but you don't know how to express it so that people are comfortable with it. You should be comfortable with the fact of knowing that in history, one of the worst housing crises in history,
right,
outside of probably the Great Depression, one of the
Correct.
worst crashes in history,
yes,
it only took 3 years to regain value, and it was up
yes,
after the crash. That is, holy crap, good.
yeah. That's what I was getting at.
I understand
that
it,
was
but the
the
way
worst.
you said it comes off as negative. I know that's not what you meant.
No, that's definitely, yeah.
But you have to understand that the way you speak to people and what people hear, it's not what you're saying, it's how you say it. So what I'm telling people is, hey, this is the best time to buy right now when interest rates are up. You want to know why?
Because guess what happens when they come down?
Mass appreciation.
Absolutely.
But what else? You can today, like I can get seller credits right now that I couldn't get 2 years
Yep.
ago. I can negotiate prices down if I want to. I can negotiate home warranties. I can actually get an inspection. I don't have to waive my rights to appraisals. I don't have to. I can make things contingent on appraisal again.
Yep.
Right? Couldn't do that 3 years ago. 2 years
Right.
ago, I should say. Now you can. And guess what's going to happen? May 10th. Mark my words. I've been right, and you know I've been right. Pretty much spot on when it comes to rates and it comes to what rates are going to do. I said, and inflation, right? I said inflation was going to peak, correct?
Yes,
In what? October or November?
you did.
October 28th was peak inflation.
Yeah.
So I was right there, like basically dead on. Late October or November. And it peaked, right?
Yep.
So now I'm telling you that rates are going to start to fall on May 10th, and we are going to be in a very good position as far as interest rates are concerned and as far as a refinance market for mortgage people, but it's going to be a tougher position for you to buy a home.